Hey, this is Jed Hardman with Independent Home Loans. Just wanted to give you guys a quick call or some information here that we've been getting a lot of questions on here at Independent Home Loans. I've had several clients ask lately, what does the equity happen to my house? And there's three or four things we're going to go over here of what can happen to your equity. So I had a guy come into my office today. His name's Frank. Frank's a good guy. He lives here in Salt Lake. He's from El Paso, Texas. He says, in the next 3 to 5 years, I might be moving back to El Paso to live closer to family. He's not sure on that, just like nobody's sure exactly on what they're going to do in the future. So I wanted to address this and everybody else, address him and everybody else with this video. So let me pull up a little more information here about it. He owes $85,500 on his house. It's worth about $490. Okay. So he's got quite a bit of equity. He's got about 370 grand-ish of equity. He's also taking a lump sum of money out when he does his reverse mortgage. That's why his balance is going up to about $117,000. I'll demonstrate that in 1 second. But the first thing is his payment is $766 a month without taxes and insurance. And the reason I'm excluding the taxes and insurance, some of these HECM or reverse mortgages, some of them have the taxes and insurance included, others do not. So I'm just doing it without them, just to make things simple. So every year, because his real payment's $1,134, I believe. Every year he's paying right at about $9,100 in mortgage payment, $9,192. Okay. So his question was to me, Jed, I'm paying $9,000 a year just in this. Why should I do a reverse mortgage? What happens to the equity? I don't want to give my house to the bank. I don't want to just give it to the bank. What do I do? I was like, well, that's a good question. You're not giving the equity to the bank immediately. He thinks that whatever happens if he passed away in the next 10 years, the bank gets his house and all the equity. And I'm like, that is not true. And it's one of the biggest myths I think we see doing these HECM reverse mortgages is everybody calls that and goes, I just want to give my house to the bank. They get concerned about it. So let me jump over here. I'm going to share screen with you and go over a couple of the options that we have here. Let me share screen. Okay, you should be looking at, it looks like you are, you're looking at his equity right now. So he's 67 years old right now. His loan is going to start, his reverse mortgage is going to start at about $117,000. This is a negative amortization loan, meaning interest is going to be rolled on as he doesn't make a payment. Okay. So right here, the property value is about $490,000 and he has about $372,000. We'll just call it $370,000 of equity. Okay. His concern is, where am I going to be the next 5 to 6 years with everything? So, and keep in mind as well, he only owes $85,000, but he's taking $25,000 out in equity. I think that's a big thing. That's why his loan amount is right around the 117 mark. But anyway, let me get to the real point here. So year one, he's going to add on right at, I already did the math earlier. I think it was $98.41. These two numbers, $9,841 is what he's going to add on in his first year in basically in interest onto his mortgage. So he's going to owe $127,400. We think the property value will be about 509, maybe 505, somewhere right around there. I like to go conservative. He'll still have about the same amount of equity or more, right, than he did even when he started. Okay. And the thing to keep in mind is he was paying $9,192 in mortgage payment. Okay. So that's pretty crazy that he's only about $600-700 away from really what he was paying into it himself out of his own pocket. Okay, that's rolled onto the loan. Let's jump here. Let's jump to year 4. Let's just jump to year 5. That's probably the easiest because he thinks he'd be out of here in 5 years. His house would be about $175,801 is what he would owe on his mortgage, and then, or on his reverse mortgage. And then it's worth about $596. So he'd have $420,000 in equity, which is even more than where he is today when he goes ahead and sells his house and moves to El Paso. He can sell his house and just move, take the equity and move it to the next home. Okay. That's, a lot of people think that he has to pay it all to the bank or things like that. That's not true at all. In the case that he passed away in the house, that does happen. People with reverse mortgages have to be over the age of 62. If he was to pass away in his house, his heirs or whoever he puts on his will gets the house. They can sell the house, pay off the mortgage of $240,000 in 5 years or whenever this happens, and they will still walk with that equity that's left, and they can do whatever they want to do with that equity. Okay, so a lot of people, those are the two myths. They think that just first off, the equity's gone, that it goes to the bank, and that's why they do it. It's not true. The second thing is that the money goes that it can't go on to their heirs. Like that's the two big myths that we really are covering here. Let's just jump to year 10. Let's say he lives in it for 10 years. He owes $262,000 on it, which really, with inflation and everything, 10 years from now, that's going to be a small mortgage, really, when you think about it. His house would be worth $725. Let's just say worth $700, and he only had about $420,000 of equity. It's still about where he is today, or a little more. So this is not a bad product. The reverse mortgage has stops in place. You will never owe more than what your house is worth. It's never going to put you in that situation. This is backed up by FHA and HUD. It's a very, very secure mortgage. It doesn't have the problems that a lot of people think that it does, or the myths, really. They think that they're going to lose their house or that type of stuff. And this is a good thing. This guy wants to travel back down to Mexico some, see family. He wants to go on some cruises. He wants to live, the golden years. He wants to have some fun. So that's really what I wanted to show you guys. The equity doesn't just disappear. It doesn't go to the bank. This isn't a scam. They're not ripping the money away from you. That's illegal. It's a very conservative thing. It's to help seniors. And if they decide to sell or move or whatever happens, that they are protected. I'm Jed Hardman with Independent Home Loans. My number is 801-602-4071. Again, 801-602-4071. Please like and subscribe. Would love to have more people liking and subscribing our stuff. Get this out to the multiverse a little bit more. And always reach me at Jed at independenthomeloans.com. I have an email as well, Jed VA Pro. Used to do a lot of VA loans, Jed VA Pro at gmail.com or Jed at independenthomeloans.com. And I really look forward to talking to you. And if you ever have any questions on reverse mortgages, you know exactly where to come. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.